everyone, Tom from Untitled Tactical. Today I was going to talk to you guys about one of the several products that was sent out to us from Steve from Elftmann Tactical. Specifically today I was going to talk to you guys about their Ambidextrous speed safety, their ass button, or what I've been kind of referring to as the switch. I wish I was able to actually be I'm just going to be muzzlingly blunt with you guys. I have nothing invested with Elftmann Tactical. I don't work for them. I don't get paid by them, so I'm being completely objective to this safety as I possibly can be. When we got these triggers in the mail, I threw one of these triggers in this host gun right here, and their safeties, admittedly, I took them and I just kind of discarded them, for lack of a better term, and I left them on my dresser. The thought of not having the gavel, so to speak, the traditional selector switch, whether it was just the one side or an ambidextrous where you can have your thumb riding on the back of it, it kind of seemed appalling to me. How can you actually improve on something that there's absolutely nothing wrong with? So these safeties sat around on my dresser for like a good week-ish or so, and finally my wife is like, "What the hell are these things on the dresser? What are you doing with them? Why don't you put your stuff away?" And I was looking at them, I'm like, you know what? Let me actually just put this thing in my gun so I can prove to myself that, without just speculation, I actually want to see how horrible these things are. And it's going to take me longer to find a screwdriver to get in my pistol grip than it actually is to swap out the safety. So I loosened up my pistol grip, I threw this selector switch in, I locked my bolt to the rear, and just in the bedroom, just a little brilliance in the basics, doing dry practice with my rifle. The first thing I absolutely noticed is that, and I'll get it kind of closer on the camera, the first initial impressions I thought how this thing was going to behave is that you were actually going to have like a horizontal activation. So rather than have it where your thumb is kind of riding on the back of that switch and you're just simply able to deactivate and then put it semi-safe, I thought this thing was going to be a horizontal activation, and that was part of the reason why I was like, there's no way I'm going to like this. Well, how wrong I was. The deactivation to put your gun on semi is the exact same motion that you would use for any other type selector switch. You're simply just riding your thumb on top of this button and then you're pushed down. So the motion from one selector to another is the exact same. You're simply pushing down, and I was kind of surprised to see that. And going from safe to semi, safe, semi, back and forth is lightning fast. The second thing that actually stood out at me, and I guess we'll say there are two types of people in this world. There are those that'll leave their gun on semi when they reload, and there are those that'll put it on safe when they reload. I am the latter of the two. Anytime I am not connected to this gun, as in basically I kind of run with like a 4 point of contact type rule, 1, 2, 3, and then my face being, or the cheek weld being 4. If I do not have 4 points of contact on this gun, or if I am not actively connected to it or actively shooting, it's going on safe. If I'm doing a reload, it's also going on safe. One thing that was really nice about this safety is that typically in like a traditional safety, I kind of break my master grip. Not much, but it's just a little bit. So as soon as my bolt locks to the rear and I go to grab a new magazine, I can either flip up with my thumb and put the gun back on safe, or there's been like with, as soon as I kind of swapped over to ambidextrous safeties about, I don't know, it was a long time ago. When I swapped over to ambidextrous safeties, I started using my index finger. The second I use my index finger, my grip on my master grip on the pistol grip breaks a little bit. It's never been a big deal, but one thing that this particular safety is kind of doing is as soon as that bolt locks to the rear, all I really need to do to put it back onto safe is simply just rotate my trigger finger up and put it on the receiver. To me, that's also adding some more added value. I'm not a big fan of the battery. Any battery assist device, and keeping your finger away from the trigger during any reload, whether you are using the selector switch or not, is definitely beneficial to the user. For not connected to the gun, fingers off the trigger, gun should be going on safe. So the second this bolt locks to the rear, if I were on I'm firing right now, the second I want to put it on safe, all I need to do is simply just kind of rotate my finger up, gun's on safe, do what I need to do, send the bolt home, and the gun immediately back on fire. So this thing has been super intuitive for me. One concern I did have about it is I just kind of sitting there brainstorming, and like, if this gun is simply just kind of on a sling and we're just simply at a hang, what are the odds or likelihood that, say, if you were to be wearing kit, like I'm a civilian now, so I don't put on any tactical cool guy shit and run around the range. I'll just throw a mag on my belt or maybe in my pocket. So I don't particularly wear kit too much, but that doesn't mean I don't have kit. I do. It's in there. It just kind of sits around in my closet. But if you were wearing kit and you kind of have like your 3 mags down here, which is typically how most people set them up, if this gun were to just simply be at a hang, could your magazines inadvertently push this gun back onto semi? I'm like, well, I had to find out. So I threw my kit on, no magazine or anything in the gun, and I just kind of just in my bedroom a little bit, I just wanted to see if my mags were just going to deactivate the safety. And out of like 5-10 minutes of like kind of messing around, I got it to deactivate the safety one time. And I'm like, will that not necessarily be a good thing? But now I'm thinking about it a little bit more. I'm like, well, you know, really your hand should be on the pistol grip no matter what. Yes, I do know we need to go hands off sometimes, in which case you might sling this behind you, but about a good 90% of the time you at least have your master grip on that pistol grip here, and you might need to move your gun off to the side, move people out of your way. You might need to do what you do, but since our hands are typically on the pistol grip, that's not necessarily an issue. Thinking back to the couple of years that I spent overseas in Iraq, in that lovely downtown beautiful country, after about 5-6 hours of wearing kit, if you've worn kit for like 18, 19, 20 hours, after about that 6th hour, I guarantee you, if you've worn it that long, you've kind of been sitting there doing one of these numbers because your back starts to hurt. Most dudes will see they'll start resting their gun on their magazines, especially when you've been wearing your kit for a super long time. Thinking back to some of those experiences, I definitely know, like, periodically, I'm not going to give you like some kind of timestamp on it, but periodically I've definitely, you know, kind of rotated my thumb down here to ensure that it was in the, you know, the right direction. I didn't actually inadvertently switch it off. So this is absolutely no different than the actual typical traditional safety switch that we're using in the context if we're wearing kit. It's not going to deactivate or activate, you name it, or safe semi, back and forth just from resting on her body. So that's definitely a good thing to keep in mind if you guys are wearing kit. Last couple notes I got about this safety here is, it's called the ASS, or the Ambidextrous Speed Safety, for a reason. So those of you guys that are left-handed, it has notches cut in it so you can flip this over the other way around if you're a left-handed shooter, where the deactivation would just simply be opposite the way I have my gun set up right now. So that's definitely a pretty cool feature. I guess bottom line, guys, I've been really trying my ass off to find some reason just to hate this switch. I honestly, I gotta say that part of the reason why I really tried to hate it is just because it's so different. It's so different than like all the years and years and years of running that traditional switch. But sometimes people come along and they make things and they solve a problem that you didn't even know you had. And this thing kind of did that for me, especially in the context of what I was talking to you guys earlier about before, that the second I'm not connected to this gun, she's going on safe, and that's just the way I roll. Price point, the one I had in here that it replaced, it was just under $100. I believe the price point on this thing is right around $40. So we're definitely getting a good deal. And if I'm wrong about that $40, I'll drop that. I'll drop my correction down in the description box below. But for a price point of $40 and me trying my butt off to hate this thing for the last couple weeks I've been using it, this thing is just definitely an awesome switch. If you guys want to, definitely go head over to Elftmann Tactical, take a look at this switch. It's an easy install. It takes all of about 5 minutes, and not for nothing, over the years, if you're watching this video, I can almost guarantee you have bought a ton of gun parts that just to try out. You've seen something and you're like, oh, I want to try that. You've gave it a shot for a couple weeks, couple months, whatever the case may be, and then you've taken it off, and if you're like me, you have boxes full of stuff. For a price point of $40, you almost owe it to yourself just to give this switch a shot. It's done wonders for me. I absolutely love it. This is Tom from One Chance Tactical. Thank you for watching, and you guys be safe.